Welcome to Little Seeds of Faith, a podcast where children help read a treasured Bible story, and we get a chance to explore and talk about the lessons we learn. Hi, my name is Joanie, and I love reading. My most treasured book to read is the Bible. The Bible has great adventures, love stories, stories of hope and truth, and most importantly, stories of faith. Hi, welcome to Little Seeds of Faith. I have somebody special here with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Charity. I'm 10 years old. I live in Innerkip, Ontario, Canada. I'm the oldest of 3 siblings, 2 sisters and a baby brother. I love to sing, and my Grammie teaches me piano. We live in the country, and I love to play outside.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself. So you live in Canada, and I think you're the first person I've actually interviewed that lives in Canada, which is kind of exciting. That's really close to where I am. And so your Grammie plays the piano. So do you sing along with her when she plays the piano?
Yeah, and I also play the piano.
You play it too. Do you have a favorite song that you like to play?
I like to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
That's a great song. Have you been playing for long? Or are you new to the piano?
I think 3 years I've been playing it.
That's great. Well, keep it up. I love piano music. It's one of my favorite things. And you live out in the country. Does that mean that, do you have animals? Do you have any chickens or any animals by you? Or no?
No.
No. Okay. You're just out in the country. That's great. I live in the country also, so I know what that's like. So Charity, today we are going to be reading a story from the book of Genesis today. What story are we going to be reading today?
Noah's Ark.
Yeah, you picked Noah's Ark, which is kind of fitting that we're reading this today. It's kind of a rainy day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun to read the story of Noah's Ark on a rainy day. The story of Noah's Ark is found in the book of Genesis, like I said, and from it's in Genesis chapter 6 through 9 that we are going to be reading from today. Can you tell me a little bit about Noah before we begin?
That God sent a big flood, and Noah trusted in God and had faith in God.
Yeah, Noah, so there's a big flood. So we're going to be reading about a big flood coming to the earth. And Noah, he is one of the people that is saved, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is the story of Noah and his ark is at the beginning of the Bible. It's kind of the beginning of man. We have the story of Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel. And then next comes the story of Noah. So this is very at the beginning of the Bible. So shall we begin to read? You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to begin and let's see where we get off to. Now it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves, of all whom they chose. And the Lord said,
My spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years.
There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said,
I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them.
But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a just man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with God, and Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth was also corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. So God looked upon the earth, and indeed it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. And God said to Noah,
The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy with them the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and outside with pitch. You shall make a window for the ark, and you shall finish it to a cubit from above, and set the door of the ark in its side. You shall make it with lower, second, and third decks. And behold, I myself am bringing flood waters on the earth, to destroy from under heaven all flesh in which is the breath of life. Everything is that is on the earth shall die, but I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall go into the ark, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark to keep them alive with you. Of birds after their kind, of animals after their kind, and of every creeping thing of the earth after its kind. 2 of every kind will come to you to keep them alive, and you shall take for yourself all food that is eaten, and you shall gather it to yourself, and it shall be food for you and for them.
Thus Noah did, according to all that God commanded him. All right, we're going to just pause right there real quickly, Charity. We're going to just talk about what we just read, so we don't forget all the good little parts in here. So we have the story of the earth is now filled with all these men that were corrupt. How did God feel about all these evil men upon the earth?
He felt sad that he made man and woman on the earth.
Yeah, he was feeling very sad about it because it says that they were just continually thinking evil thoughts and doing evil deeds. And that is not okay for us to be doing or thinking all the time. So it made him very sad. So God comes up with this plan, and he finds Noah, who is the only just and right man on the earth at the time. And so he tells Noah to build a ark. So what is an ark?
Like a big boat.
Yeah, a really big boat. So what do you know like how big this boat is? Is it like a little boat that you see out in the water?
No, it was like really big.
Yeah, it was huge. It was this massive boat with 3 different stories. So, the size of a cruise ship or even bigger if you've ever seen a picture of a cruise ship. It's a big boat with 3 different stories and levels to it with a window at the very top. And what is he supposed to fill this big boat or this ark with? Just him and his wife are going in there, or what else is going in there?
Him, his wife, his sons' wives, and his sons, and all the animals. 2 of every kind.
Yeah. 2 of every kind. And then also all their food that they need. Right? They had to keep everybody alive, so it needed space and storage for their food and their water to drink. So this was a really big-sized boat, and it was full with food, water, animals, and 8 humans on board. Do you think the people around him thought he was kind of crazy for building this big boat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were. I think people were kind of going, "What are you doing, Noah? Why are you wasting your time in building this big thing, this big boat?" They haven't had rain on the earth or floods at that time, so they have no idea really what is to come. Okay, so it takes them quite a long time, many years, to over 100, 120, 150 years to build this ark. And now the time has come. He is finished. And so this is then what the Lord says to Noah. You want to read that next part there?
Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. For after 7 more days I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy from the face of the earth all living things that I have made.
And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters were on the earth. So Noah, with his wife and his sons wives, went into the ark because of the waters of the flood, of the clean animals, of animals that are unclean, of birds, and of everything that creeps on the earth. 2 by 2 they went into the ark to Noah, male and female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass, after 7 days, that the waters of the flood were on the earth, and all the fountains of the great deep were broken open, and the windows of the heaven were opened, and the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights.
Now the flood was on the earth for 40 days. The waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. The waters prevailed and greatly increased on the earth, and the ark moved about on the surface of the waters, and the waters prevailed exceedingly on the earth, and all the high hills under the whole heaven were covered, and all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds and cattle and beasts, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, and every man. So he destroyed all living things which were on the face of the ground, and birds of the air, they were destroyed from the earth. Only Noah and those who were with him in the ark remained alive, and the waters prevailed on the earth 150 days.
All right. So when I was younger, probably about your age, I always thought that Noah was in the ark for 40 days and 40 nights. Is that right? Was he only in the boat for 40 days and 40 nights?
No.
No. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. That's a long, it rains for 2 days in a row here, and I get tired of the rain. But it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. And Noah, he was in the boat for probably close to a full year. Could you imagine staying in a boat for a full year?
No.
That's a really long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was, so Noah and his family and all the animals were stuck inside of the ark for over a year. Now, it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, but it took a really long time for the flood waters to recede. Do you know what the word recede means?
Go away.
Go. That's right. It go away. So it took a long time for the water to go away and for the land to dry up. So they could start to, what did the animals need to live? They need grass, right? So it took almost a full year for the waters to go away so the animals would have land and grass to eat and places to live. All right, shall we continue reading?
Yes.
So then God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the animals that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided. The fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven were also stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained, and the waters receded continually from the earth. At the end of the 150 days, the waters decreased. Then the ark rested on the 7th month, the 17th day of the month, on the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, the tops of the mountains were seen.
So it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. Then he sent out a raven which kept going to and fro until the waters had dried up from the earth. He also sent out from himself a dove to see if the waters had receded from the face of the ground. But the dove found no resting place for the sole of her foot, so she returned into the ark to him. For the waters were on the face of the whole earth. So he put out his hand and took her and drew her into the ark to himself. And he waited yet another 7 days, and again he sent the dove out of the ark. Then the dove came to him in the evening, and behold, a freshly plucked olive leaf was in her mouth. And Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. So he waited yet another 7 days, and sent out a dove which did not return to him any more.
And it came to pass that the waters were dried up from the earth, and Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and indeed the surface of the ground was dry. Then God spoke to Noah, saying,
Go out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing of all flesh that is with you, birds and cattle, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, so that you may abound on the earth, and be fruitful and multiply on the earth.
So Noah went out, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. Every animal, every creeping thing, every bird, and whatever creeps on the earth according to their families went out of the ark. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took of every clean animal, of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma. Then the Lord said in his heart,
I will never again curse the ground for man's sake, although the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, nor will I again destroy every living thing as I have done. Will the earth remain seedtime, and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, and day and night shall not cease.
So God blessed Noah and his sons, and said to them,
Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth.
Then God spoke to Noah and his sons with him, saying,
And as for me, behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the cattle, and every beast of the earth with you, of all that go out of the ark, every beast of the earth. Thus I establish my covenant with you. Never again shall flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth.
And God said,
This is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living creature that is with you. For perpetual generations I sent my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. It shall be when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the rainbow shall be seen in the cloud, and I will remember my covenant which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. The waters shall make again become a flood to destroy all flesh. The rainbow shall be in the cloud, and I will look on it to destroy the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth.
Thank you so much for reading that with me. That was a lot to read. You did a really good job. Thank you. So let's just go over real quickly what we just read, and let's just talk about what we just read. So we have Noah, who's in the ark, who's in the flood, and we talked about the waters receding and going away, and then as the waters receding, Noah sends out some birds. What were the birds that he sends out from the ark?
A raven and doves.
Does the raven find anything when the raven goes out?
No.
What about the dove? What does the dove find?
A freshly plucked olive leaf.
Yeah, the dove goes out, I think, 3 different times. The first time doesn't find anything, then it finds an olive leaf. And the third time, does the dove return?
No.
No. Why do you think the dove doesn't return the third time?
Because it found dry land.
Yeah, it found dry land, and it found a tree to make its nest in, probably. It found that it was good. So that was a sign for Noah to say, okay, the water has receded enough, we can leave the ark. And then God says, okay, Noah, this is the time for you to leave. And so him and all the animals come off the ark. And what is the first thing that Noah does?
He makes an altar.
Yeah. Why do people make altars and offerings?
To pray to God. To praise God.
As a thank you to God. To praise God, yeah. And it worked. What Noah, he did the right offering to God, and God said it was a soothing aroma. The aroma of it pleased the Lord. And that the Lord said in his heart that he will never again curse the ground. He'll never again destroy the earth the way he did with the flood. And so with that, God sets up the most beautiful reminder between him and man to remind them that he'll never, ever flood the earth again. What was that reminder?
The rainbow.
The rainbow
in the sky.
The rainbow in the sky. Yeah, what a beautiful thing. And the rainbow is made up of many colors, right? It's got all the colors of the rainbow. And still to today, we get to see that covenant, that promise between God and man, that it'll never be destroyed like that again. It's a very beautiful thing. So Charity, when we read the story of Noah's Ark, is there a certain part of it that made you feel excited?
I like the rainbow because, like you said, we can still see rainbows today.
Yeah, it's definitely very exciting because it brings it real for us. And we know that Noah had great faith. Can you tell me about Noah's faith in this story?
That he wouldn't just say, like...
No, you think Noah had some great faith?
He believed?
Yeah, because he believed, right? He believed in God, and he could have said, oh, I don't believe in a flood. I don't think you're going to put a flood on the earth, right? And he wouldn't have built the boat the exact way that God told him to. But Noah did. Noah did exactly what God told him to do. And that shows us that Noah had some faith in God and what God was going to do for him and his family. So, Charity, is there a time in your life where you think you had to be courageous and trust in God?
Yes. 2 years ago, I did a rock wall, and I had to jump off of it, and it was a 50-foot wall, and I was attached to a harness, and I got scared, and then I prayed to God.
And what happened when you prayed to God?
He watched over me.
Yeah. Were you able to jump off the top?
Yeah. Yes.
That's amazing. I cannot do rock walls or climb up big walls that high. I'm very, very afraid of heights. So for you to be able to do that is amazing. And I love that when you were scared, you prayed to God and you felt like you could do it and jump off at the end. That's really great. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Thank you.
So do you have 2 questions about the story that you'd like to ask our other listeners?
Why did it happen? Why were only Noah and his wife saved?
Those are 2 really good questions to really let us think about the people of the time, and to think about who Noah, about what Noah's character was like. All right. And Charity, before we hang up and say goodbye on the podcast, I like to ask, would you like to share words of wisdom, a joke, or a fun fact with me today?
Words of wisdom.
What are your words of wisdom that you have?
You should always pray and trust in God.
Yeah, that's really important words of wisdom too. I'll try to remember always, right? When we pray and trust, sometimes the challenges that we have in life go by a lot easier and better, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Charity, for reading with me and joining me on the podcast. I hope this podcast planted a little seed of faith in you today. If you would like to read with me, go to wcfoundation.org. Click on the Little Seeds of Faith icon, scroll down, and there you'll find a spot that says Apply Here.
Did you know that some of our outreach programs help those in financial, medical, and emotional crisis? Bad things happen in the lives of many. We believe in helping those who have stumbled. This includes assisting in the cost of emergency medical procedures, help to those who have lost employment, or those facing a sudden challenge due to emotional difficulties. If you would like to donate, please visit wcfoundation.org and look for the link Invest in Faith.